Good morning, Guruji.
Good morning, Sudha.
Guruji, pranam.
Pranam, Manali.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Jayashri ji.
Pranam Rasdipda.
Pranam, Pinky.
Pranam Artiji.
Pranam, Narvekar.
Pranam, sir.
Pranam, Vidya. All right. It is 9:10 in India. Today is 26th of June, 2021. We shall start our learning session. And today's topic, the explanation of poverty consciousness and the prosperity consciousness, just to understand what is the fundamental difference. So there was a discussion in the group. So Nirupam requested that to elaborate in more detail. Just to give you the reference of that, there was a discussion that to help others, we need to sacrifice some of what we have. And that was the explanation. In the part of explanation, I mentioned about that the concept of this sacrifice is coming from poverty consciousness. And this is from there the whole thing has come. So it's good that it is just an understanding. It is not a criticism of anyone. It is about addressing the conditioning we have regarding our materialistic positions. So basically, fundamentally, it comes from our conditioning, our childhood conditioning, our educational conditioning, our social conditioning. In fact, we are taught from the childhood that we have to be first in everything. We have to win all the competitions. Their life is full of competitions. You have to win. And win means somebody has to lose. So that has been, deep into our psyche. We are programmed like that. It is not about right or wrong. It is the way we programmed. And so we have been, and even the scientific world also teach us that thing called survival for the fittest. So to survive, you have to fit, you have to win, we have to do, and things like that. That is the concept about that winning. So in the duality level, if win comes, the lose also comes. If you win sometimes, you have to lose sometimes as well. It's a part of the same coin. We cannot put one side all the time. So it is a part of the package, it will come. But fundamental idea is coming from the duality consciousness that I have to win, I have to get things. Over the period of our life's journey, we learn that we need to have more. And to have more, then we have to get from somewhere. So from there, our habit of accumulation, the hoarding comes. Why hoarding comes? Why we need to hoard? Because we face a lot of threats in the external world. Many threats, that threat of losing something, threat of losing our health. So a lot of money need to be spent there. And security about our earnings and things like that. So we are programmed to hoard in the name of security. So that becomes our pattern unconsciously. If you see my explanation, I have written that this poverty consciousness, what I'm talking about, we are unconsciously following that. It is not that we want it to be like that, but it is, we are so programmed from birth onwards due to life experiences and things like that. Then we feel that is our security. So, and because of that, it becomes unconsciously, it becomes our habit pattern. Okay. And this pattern is actually called poverty consciousness in the spiritual terms. So poverty consciousness, I'm just explaining what is a poverty consciousness is. In poverty consciousness, it believes that the resources or the energy or the wealth is fixed. Unless until you take from somewhere, you will not get more. So the richest person is that person who can get wealth from millions of people, he is wealthiest. If you can get for few people, you are less wealthy. And if you give, you have nothing to left. You have, if there is no incoming, only outgoing, that you are gone. This is the idea, which is called poverty consciousness. So it considers a fixed. Suppose if I wanted to be the richest person in this world, then I have to find some scheme how I can take money from thousands or millions of people's out of their pocket, so that it comes to my account. Then I will save it somewhere in the Swiss bank or something. So I'll be the richest person in the world. That is the idea, being rich. So-called prosperity. Okay. Now, in the bargain, what happens is that end of the day, I create so much of enemy that I cannot move around. Just I cannot walk in the park without Z-class security, because I cheated so many people. Because some people, they say that I have, from internally, there's a movie, I think, some Godfather or something, some, what is called, Mafia Don or somebody. He said, whenever I put my hand or, shift my hand, it is to grab something. I cannot give something. It doesn't come from me, that I will move my hand to give. I can only, if I move my hand, definitely I will try to grab something from someone. That is the attitude of the Don. It is exactly coming from that, the poverty consciousness, what I'm talking about. Okay, that is the extreme version, but we are many of that versions within us. So whenever you go and talk to somebody, I'm sure you are very, you heard that many times. People are, इसमें मेरा फायदा क्या है? इसमें मेरा क्या है इसमें? Means even they wanted to talk to someone, they meet a new person. So first thing they ask, इसमें मेरा फायदा क्या है? Means that I cannot even spend a time if it is, I cannot get something from that other person. It is wastage of time for me. Okay. Comes from the poverty consciousness, what I'm talking. So this, with the idea that my time is limited, I have to, I think unless until I get something, it is not profitable for me. It is not working for me. So this is the kind of thing we are programmed. I'm just, re-emphasizing. I'm not explaining how it works. You know very well how it works in the society, in this business and everywhere. Okay. So this is how that system is working, and finally who managed to manipulate the system, manipulate the things, and they gather more than what is necessary, and finally the further down the line repercussions. Somewhere, some part of the world that people go, the poverty level go down and down and down, and somebody will reach and reach and reach. It is all statistics. I'm not saying something new, that it is balance. This is poverty consciousness. To have something, creating imbalance and having it for myself. That's why in the reverse, when we see we are giving something, inside we feel that we are losing something out of we should have. And that is where the sacrifice word came. Sacrifice means I am not supposed to do it, but I am gracious, I'm great, I'm great, so I can spare something for somebody else, not for me. This is where our psyche operates. Okay, I'm not saying right and wrong. I'm saying this is how it is operated, and it is coming from the poverty consciousness. Again, if you sacrifice something, then you believe that you can have a fixed amount of wealth or time or something, whatever has any value, knowledge or something. Giving something, suppose you have knowledge, you are giving something from free, unimaginable for the person who are operating from poverty consciousness. And in the reverse way, and when I go to prosperity consciousness, I will just explain. Who are operating from poverty consciousness, abundance consciousness, the other side, the abundance consciousness, they give life transforming knowledge or time or something. They don't even expect a thank you. Yeah? Forget about sacrifice. Okay, that thing coming from the abundance consciousness. That I will explain now how it works. Okay, so far, up to this, if you have any question, you ask me. Poverty consciousness means we consider that our wealth, our time, or whatever it is, whatever we have, it is limited. And if we share something, we'll lose something. If you take some of that something from others, then we gain. If we give something, we lose. This is the poverty consciousness. So before I go to abundance consciousness, so if you have any question, you ask me. On poverty, understanding of poverty consciousness.
Yes, Guruji, regarding poverty consciousness of time, if I feel like doing all things in a day, if I feel like there sometimes should be me time, when I will do something what I like to do and whatever it is my me time. So this is wrong. Is this wrong?
No, it is not wrong. There is no right and wrong, but this is not wrong. It is called time management. Okay. People say, I'm so busy, I cannot time for myself, or I cannot time for my own development, study and knowledge and things like that. I'm saying that this is basically issue of time management. It's nothing to do with you cannot have it.
Okay.
Okay. And secondly, normally any kind of relationship and duty and things, this is my, you can say my experience I share, that you do whatever you can comfortably do without losing your peace of mind, and that's it. Whether it is the best or it is worst doesn't matter to others.
Okay. So having me time, so it's not.
Of course, you should have your me time.
Okay, Guruji.
Okay, you should. Having your me time, and you have to analyze, because you need to be a better version of yourself. Whatever you yesterday, only thing you are competing with yourself, your previous self. That's it. That is called actualizing your potential.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
All right. Any more question on this poverty consciousness before I go into the prosperity consciousness? Okay, all understood? Okay, good. Now let me come to how the prosperity consciousness works. Prosperity consciousness, it works on the principle, prosperity or abundance consciousness. It works on the principle that source is unlimited. And which is the truth. Whoever has been realized that truth, they know it is all possible to manifest, to create anything Source is unlimited. It has got unlimited potential, unlimited power. Only what we have to do is, it is the divine grace is flowing all the time. Only thing what we have to do is we have to tune in to that. We need not to hoard it. Okay, like the rain is showering. Suppose, say it is waterfalls. You wanted to take bath. Don't go with a small bucket and take the water out and say, this is for me. Live near that. You will be abundance and flow through you. Whenever you wish, you can have the bath, whatever you enjoy there. Don't go and collect 2 buckets and 3 buckets and then fight with that. And that is the poverty consciousness. We are going with the ocean with a small container and think it is mine. Okay, try to live in that ocean where everything will be infinite and yours. So these things, manifestation of that, when you are connected with everything, listen this part, okay? When you are connected with the divine forces, you will not feel any shortage. You will not feel insecure. You will not feel threatened. What will happen if I have to spend more money? What will happen if something goes wrong, or if I lose something? He will be taken care of. Because you are part of the whole. Only thing, you have to realize that and experience that. It is not possible that you are cutting your own hand. It is not possible. Why? Because you consider the hand is a part of you. So the infinite source, the universal consciousness, which we are part of, why? The universal consciousness will create any kind of punishment. It is our idea. There is nothing called punishment. What we have, we don't have the connection. We think we are separate, and that thinking creates all these things. That's why when we go to the sea, we go with a bucket. Thinking that if sea dries tomorrow, what I can do? At least I have 1 bucket. That is the poverty consciousness, see? And if I consider I can go to any time I wish to the sea and swim, bath, or whatever, any length, I can enjoy the taking bath there anytime I wish. That is abundance consciousness. I have no bucket, but I can enjoy anytime. I don't have a fear that sea will dry someday. This is exactly the fear we have if my, source, whatever, income source, this and that, it stops, what will you do? Okay. That is poverty consciousness. Source never stops. Only it changes the channel sometimes. That's why they call, if one door closes, many door opens. Okay, so this is the thing, type of thing we have to tune in, that abundance consciousness. So this abundance and the prosperity, so only thing what you have to do is you have to shift our consciousness and vibrate high. That part we need to take care. What happens is, it is like a channel. Like say from the river, mountain, the water is flowing, coming out to the land, plain land. So you see how the water will flow? Water will flow wherever the passage is more. If there are a lot of boulders and obstacles in one way, water will not go away. It will find the least resistance path to flow. some area of the mountain, there is a big gorge, maximum water will flow through that. So only what we need to do is to have that flow of energy through us, that the, the divine forces, which is infinite, it can create anything, to come through us, we have to be worthy of receiving it. That's what we have to do. We have to wide open our channel to receive it. And what is that channel? Because in the divine, in the higher dimension, it is all energy and vibration. So to get more, you raise your vibration, you will get more. Or not get is not the right one. It will flow through you. You will be always in the flow. Because you are connected with the source and you allow it, not hoarding it. You are allowing it to pass through you. And you become then the divine channel. Maybe thousands and millions of people will be benefited through you. So more you do that, more it will come to you. But if you think of that, scenario where that from mountain, that water is coming with a full force. And now you are thinking that what I have got the water, I should not, allow it to flow by. You create a big dam. One point of time, the dam will crash and all water will go out. Or water will stop flowing. You'd find out another channel because you created a block now. You no longer will get the water. Another channel will be created, least resistant path. Water will go from there. Anyway, it will reach to the target audience, the humanity. The question is whether in tune with that divine plan or in not. If you are in tune, you need not to bother from where it is coming. Who will create it? Divine has infinite potential. Sometimes we don't realize when we talk about infinite. Infinite means truly infinite. It can actually create so much of wealth that every person on the earth will be wealthy. It's possible. If you want somebody to give us the divine grace and all these things, some wealth will be created at your backyard. You dig up, you will get a gold coin full of some old vessel. That can be created like that. Okay. It's all possible. But only thing, we have to be worthy of that. I'm just giving an example, but it will be the similar way it will be taken. Anything can be manifested or created. Only thing you have to be worthy of that. Okay. So by this, simply by raising your vibration and being in the flow, you will never feel shortage. So this type of thing, that the worry and all, that need to be taken up. You have to surrender that to divine. In my life also, many things can happen. Already happened. And then I lose something. And suddenly I saw from different things, I'm getting help, I'm getting support. New avenues are opening it up. And things are much, much better than I thought that I could have been. It's an amazing thing. I didn't plan it. In fact, if I plan it, it could have been a completely different and much, much lower version than what I'm getting. But to do that, I have to surrender my own idea and my own way. And that's what my own struggling of that. And this leads to that living in the prosperity. Living in prosperity does not mean that you have the $1 million in the bank. It's a wrong idea of prosperity. Guruji, Prem Nirmalji, he teaches 7-dimensional prosperity. What are the 7 things? It's not only money. That's what I'm saying. What are the 7? First is the physical. You have to have a healthy body. Otherwise, you cannot enjoy life. And Guruji says, suppose you have so much of wealth, you can buy 7 sweets shop. You are the owner of 7 sweet shop or chain of sweet manufacturing or sweet distribution company or something. But you have a diabetes. You cannot enjoy a single sweet. See, you are poor. So that wealth cannot give you enjoyment of enjoying a single sweet. You are owner of thousands of sweets produced in your company daily. So this is, abundance is enjoying that. Having that physical, that health. Health doesn't mean going to a gym and making big body. I'm not talking about that. Just being healthy, like normal, functional. Second is mental. Mental is your peace of mind. If anything you do, almost every session I talk about this. Either answering something or that. Peace of mind is a big wealth. If you lose your peace of mind because of any reason, it doesn't worth it. Whether it's a duty and you should be doing and all, that's what our ego plays trick, and we fall into that trap and lose our peace of mind. What is the right thing to do? I should be doing it. Oh, there's injustice. It is my duty to protest. Okay, you protest if you don't lose your peace of mind. You are not there to take care of everything, all the problems in the world. Don't be in that illusion at all. So first thing my advice is, don't play God. You are no one. Understand that what you can do within the framework of your peace of mind, you do that. If you say, I can do this without losing, perfect. I normally give example of, suppose I find in my office, my boss is corrupt. So it is my duty to tell the higher management to complain against my boss, that it's a company's money he is stealing or whatever, corruption. But if I do that, boss will come to know for sure. And after that, he will make my life hell. Maybe I will have to resign, not him. Okay. So why should I lose my peace of mind? Just what is the right thing to do? Okay. And whenever I say this kind of things, many people say, how come you, being a spiritual, you teach this kind of things? Immoral things, supporting corruption and things like that. Then the answer to that, I'm also giving that answer also. I said, I am spiritual. That's why I'm saying it. Whatever you are facing, these are all drama. At one level, if you see, these are all drama. Don't fall in trap into all this drama. Walk your path. What somebody else is doing, not doing, whether it is justice, injustice, none of your business. They are following their own path. And their divine justice is always there. It may not happen as per the time you think. But it will be always there. Karma will take care of it. Why should I bother myself to get into it and I'll means some horse is running, I'm trying to go in front of it and trying to stop it. Horse will kick me out. Only thing here, what I have to do is have to understand my own power and what I can do. No, the horse become mad. It is my duty to stop it. You will get kicked. As simple as that. So that is why I say that you do whatever you can. Whatever is beyond your control, just pray to take care. Just allow the horse to pass by and pray, please take care of this horse so that it should not harm others. That you can do. And if you do that, You will not lose your peace of mind. All right. So that is about the peace of mind. And next is emotional. Emotional, that is emotional maturity is also an asset. Emotions are triggered by our ego. So if you go into the spiritual practice and control your ego, emotion will automatically get controlled. And main thing to do is witnessing by what is happening in your mind. I already explained that I started observing myself, what Rajdeep is thinking, what Rajdeep become angry or upset. Just accept the truth. If you're observing from there, you create the space where it can be controlled, even it is going outside.
Sir?
Yes, Shweta.
Sir, this witnessing meditation can be, I feel very comfortable when it is guided. So I can take help of guided meditation for witnessing initially.
Yeah, and guided means recorded or what you are?
Yes, sir, recorded.
Yeah. You can. Yeah, you can do that. So initially you take, but only thing you make sure these are external gadgets. Okay, you are listening to something. So make sure you don't make it a habit. Because what I'm saying is, it should not be the case. Without that, you cannot meditate. It is called dependency. Just avoid dependency. Nothing wrong. You try different things and don't get dependent. It is the same formula like an addiction. Okay, don't get addicted to a particular method. Because we are teaching here the path of a master, not a disciple. Okay. If I am in a process of creating more disciples, then I will tell you, I will give you my recording voice, listen to every morning. Okay. Or take japa, 108 japa of my name. I am not saying that, because those are the creating disciples concepts. I wanted you to be master, so that without any dependency, even my recorded voice, you should not get dependent upon. You should be independently doing it. Something from inner resource should take you forward. Okay. That is, I'm just giving a cautionary note. Otherwise, it is nothing wrong in some time to listen, and that's perfectly okay. But I'm just cautioning you, you should, up to which level you should use it. Okay. Then further, means whatever method, if you can see that we normally don't encourage too much of external dependency. Okay, whether it's some gadget, whether it is some something, or some salts or something, only for a specific purpose, but not for the regular practice. All whatever need, we already have it inside. Okay, so you just you remember that, and you can do that. It's no issues. Okay. All right. So I talked about out of 7-dimensional prosperity, third is the emotional, and next is the social. We are social animal. So we have to operate in the society. So we should, what I should say, we should not impose our ideas and things on others that create commotion. Okay. So you have to be smart enough to operate in this world without disturbing any of the existing things, practices and all, even if you don't agree. Lot of great masters, they get killed. Jesus Christ gets killed, no? Is nailed to the crucified. So it is not about who you are. It is about be careful about the society you operate. Don't disturb anything, Again, it is not your duty to correct everyone. Neither you have to push others to bring into the spirituality. It's a normal thing. What happens is we feel it is better, and then we try to bring everything. What my advice is that don't push them. Give the message to them that if you require, there is a way. Okay. like in our college days, the professor said our duty is to make the horse thirsty and show him the pond. Okay, not to bring the horse to the pond. That is not your duty. Let them choose. Why? Because everybody has a time. You cannot force that when the spiritual path will open to somebody else. You do it for yourself, perfect. If others looking at you being changed, others will ultimately follow, but don't push them. It will be counterproductive. Okay. So this, what I'm saying is operate in social and social norms and all means there is a rule of the land everywhere. So we have to follow that. Even though, spiritual level, we see this is not needed, this is not needed, but we should not do foolish thing and get arrested. Okay, I cannot teach something, suppose in front of my house, making a pandal and start teaching, police will come and catch me. So what I'm saying is be careful about the social norms, rules and regulations of the land. It is not wise. You are so beyond physical world that you start, disturbing the laws of that. It is not wise. So that is, we have to be careful to do that. So, and even some cultures, we have to follow their cultural things, and we have to operate within that. So we should not go beyond that and operate certain way so that we're not breaking any norms and things like that. So that will be counterproductive, and that will be not be there. So this social, you are not become a slave of the social rules, but you have to be aware of that so that you can operate within the boundaries of whatever the social norms, whatever the laws, whatever rules and regulations, so that you can prosper. You need not to, bother and restrict it with that. And next is financial, of course, that for anything in the external world, we need money to operate. We have to pay bills. We have to do that. Nothing wrong with the money. What happened was last maybe about 200 years or so, that the sannyasi mentality has taken over the society. The person with a langot with a begging bowl and with a big beard is considered to be spiritual. Okay, and somebody is driving a car, he is not spiritual. That is the idea we have. So this is complete misunderstanding. But that actually promotes that kind of sannyasi path is there. I'm not saying that that's a different path, but our path is not that. Don't even encourage the idea. If I give my money, if I just do that everything, then I will be more spiritual. No, you will be not. You will be suffering. We are following the householder spirituality. Our aim is enlightened billionaire or Aishwaryavan Muktatma, not Langodhari Muktatma. Okay, so we are not following that. So time to time, I face many questions, and basically they are coming from some kind of sannyas mentality things, which tells us to do all these things, something which is really not necessary. So be careful about that. So we are not indirectly promoting this, tyag or sannyas or leave the family, go to Himalayas kind of stuff. Is strictly no in our path. We need not to lose anything. Rather, we encourage you to enjoy life, earn properly, enjoy life. One of the things, the 4 points we have mentioned, that operating principles. One is you have earned enjoyingly. You earn, but you do certain things, take up those things what you enjoy doing. Then only through that your income will come. And you need that. There is no denying that money is bad, or, you know, दुनिया का हर problem का जड़ वही है. It is not that. It is a form of energy. Like it is electricity and water. You know, water can, flood can kill people. Electricity can kill people. But it is how you use it, no? You need water to drink. You need electricity to, to operate all energy systems in your house. So don't go to the negative part of it and saying that it can kill you and this thing. It is true. But thing is how you use it. So here in our path, money we considered as a form of energy. We do need money. We earn money. Only thing is, you have to, the Guruji said that only thing you have to be careful about the difference between your need and greed. Okay, Sulakshmi and Kulakshmi. That differentiation you need to understand. Like if you be in the corrupt practices, you have a huge amount of money, but that is not thing, that is not what has been give you the peace of mind and give you the prosperity. So only that you have to be careful. We should not be too much greedy than in the, then we go back to our normal previous mode. Okay. So only be careful about that. There's nothing wrong in earning money, creating wealth, enjoying wealth. Okay, absolutely fine. And then it is, next is about the time. If you don't have time to enjoy life, then you are also poor. No matter how much bank balance you have. No matter you are, owner of a group of companies or whatever it is. But if you don't have time to enjoy life, life will pass by. It has got an expiry date. Right? So it will go by and you will not have time. And we heard a lot of stories. No? In the end of the life, people say, I have created so much, I have so much of wealth, and we can even offer some $1 million to buy me just 1 hour of my life. And that is not possible. So in that sense, it's invaluable. So enjoy your time, or keep some time to enjoy yourself. The Monali was asking, can I have me time? Of course, yes. You should. That is the time you enjoy. You do whatever you like to do whatever you like to enjoy, whatever the way you want it to grow, or have your own spiritual practices, or just to grow yourself, enhance your vibration. Rest of the things will take care of itself. What you do, it's up to you. I'm not saying that you have to do meditation only. Whatever you enjoy. So only thing is, again, that make sure it is whatever you are doing is not at the cost of someone else. You are not harming anyone. That's all you have to take care. And if it is many, these things are, people are involved, etc. A lot of expectation around you. Make sure you tell them that this is my time. Okay. Initially, you may face little resistance. It's okay, but finally they will understand and they will respect that. Okay, it's as simple as that. So this is the time, and you should have time to enjoy life, to grow, or whatever, your self-actualization. You need that time, and you should spend the time alone for yourself to grow. And if you were so busy, so much time, this pandemic has, taught us. Before that, people used to say, I don't have time to die. So busy I am. If I miss my office one day, the whole company will collapse. That is the idea people have. Now they can go months together and everything is working okay. Yeah, it will again go, okay. It didn't follow the same way, but nothing has disaster didn't happen. this kind of, when it goes extreme, when you hit rock bottom, one thing you have to understand that, because this so many things happen in my life also, in others also. If you hit the rock bottom and something unexpected happens and all, then you realize just one thing: whatever your worst nightmare you are thinking could have happened to you, it has already happened. Still you are surviving, no? You didn't crashed out. You're still surviving it. So that means, or already survived it. So that means that you didn't know that you have this power. Now you have it. You don't have the similar kind of tension and things, what will happen and all this kind of things for that. So you are now empowered with all these things. And because of that reason, I had one full session on that. The miraculous entry happens at the darkest hour. When you reach that rock bottom, you unexpectedly, you will never imagine you will get some help from some source, you got it. Or the way you thought it will crash, it didn't happen. It thinks, okay, it didn't happen the same way, but maybe you have to change in lifestyle a little bit, but it is not crashed. It is still flowing. Some countries, they have been ruined. Suppose this Japan, the Second World War, they ruined that country, and they come up with this, electronics and technological things so fast. They become a leader, into the world. So how come it is possible? So when it's just an individual or society hit the rock bottom, that spirit, survival spirit comes up, and that makes wonders. So it is true for our life also. And it will not come from some, flower will be dropped to you from the heaven. It's not like that. It will come from within you, but you didn't know that you have the power. What you can actually do. If the situation doesn't be created, you will not know that you had this kind of power. So that purely the survival itself tells you, you had that power, you've gone through that power, and that's it. You are stronger, mature, and things like that. Nothing can daunt you down. So this is about this, the time aspect, and the last is the spiritual dimension. Because this ultimately the infinite feeling or infinite experience of the infinite so-called wealth or time or whatever you experience in the spirituality. All of us having that instrument. It is not for exclusive few. It is not that like a top 1% richest people in the world sort of thing. It's not the property of the enlightened or things people alone. Everybody has that. The capacity for that, the spiritual growth and get connected with the infinite source. So what is that prosperity in the spiritual dimension? To be in the joy without any reason, outside reason. All the drama you get detached. It will play at its own level. You get detached and you're connected from that universal source. All the time, you are in a joy, full of bliss. You experience no matter what is happening around you. And that is the highest level of prosperity one you can have. And when you connect that, you will have not only that your own requirement, it will overflow. You will be able to start helping, guiding others, sharing that energy, sharing that. Their life will slowly get transformed. And all this, you will be guided, that energy and all these things needed, it will be flow through you. And that is infinite. This joy, when you go and enjoy that joy, you have already graduated that. If small things in the life still bothering, that means that ego has not gone completely, because ego tells you other story. Okay, I'm spiritual, but still, why such and such things are happening? Such and such thing will keep on happening. But you need to elevate so that it will not touch you. You know, you take some aeroplane and take a flight. Then what will happen? The people there are throwing some stone or arrow, or better, even the gun, it will not touch you. It will go and come back on them. You have to take up. If you're on the land and you're running behind and some people are, chasing you with an arrow, don't bother, You try different methods, running faster and all, and, hiding behind a tree, etc. That will not ultimately work. When you lift up, drama will still be played there, but you will not get touched. You will be connected to the source. So internally, you will be always full of joy, at peace, and in bliss. That is your spiritual abundance. You're connected to the source, and that's it. There'll be initially, will be some kind of, during meditation, you touch that, when after that something happens, you come down. It's normal, it's okay. And you can ups and down, touch and go, things will, that's a game. That will be played, but when you are deep into it, one point of time, whatever happens, it will not matter. Because you connected to something which is of truly infinite, truly permanent, truly unlimited, whatever you call it. Okay, it cannot be explained either. But you're connected to that, and you are truly that. We are all spiritual being having human experience, not human being trying to be spiritual. It's a misunderstanding. So what need to go? The misunderstanding need to go. We are there. We were there, we will be there, because there cannot be any other way. So all our efforts are trying to remove the misunderstanding, remove the duality. Then we'll experience ourselves, and then you get enlightened, who you are. Self-realization. You are already that. Don't, harbor any idea it has to be imported from somewhere and downloaded on you. No, you are already there. It is there within you. Only your mind is creating the separation. That mind has to be quietened, and this misunderstanding has to go so that you can realize your full potential. When you realize your full potential, you are connected to the infinite joy. When the first time Guruji, Prem Nirmalji mentioned about that, he was explaining the 7-dimensional prosperity, and he was telling last point that the spiritual thing is that being happy without any reason. Okay, that is what he mentioned. But I'm sharing with you. As a seeker, I didn't accept. How can it be without any reason? You can be happy. There must be some reason. Then I meditated on that. What I found was, I'm just sharing my experience. What happens when the soul is originally created? Of course, created from the universal consciousness. You know that story. I've just soul's journey and all I have explained earlier already. So it goes into the separation, come below Maya and operate take different lifetimes. Okay, difference of forms and lives, and I also explain mineral world, plant, and this. after getting human, after several hundreds of lifetimes, it decided to be spiritual, because that is the time we are getting ready for the final exit. When the life and it get enlightened, that after that, no birth and death, no need to come back. Okay, that also I explained that. There's no need, but some people can choose to come back from the dharmic part. That's a different reason. But normally there is no need. So what happens is that when you get enlightened or first get full connection, it is like from the soul conscious point of view, because you have to choose it. Without physical body, it is not possible to get enlightened. You have to choose it and then do sadhana, and finally you get there. But soul level, it was always there. Only it took different birth to have a different experiences that I already explained earlier. So what my realization was, why this happiness means not happiness. Happiness is state of mind. Joy, that's the unconditional joy. It is like, suppose you have gone for a, planned for a holiday trip of many countries. Suppose you are going for Europe for a, say, 1 month trip. So in that you went visited many countries and wonderful things, so Switzerland, Paris, and UK. Okay, Italy, Germany, whatever, you roam around. So you enjoyed, eaten many food, met with many people, had fun, visited wonderful places, sea beaches and mountains and whatnot. So end of your journey, so you are coming back home. Okay. So when you come back home, maybe you have a small home, doesn't matter what is the big or small, but it is your home. After that full enjoyment, you maybe stayed in different 5-star hotels and all this kind of thing, full of luxury and all whatever shopping you did. That's fine. But at the end of your journey, you will long for your home. No? Then if you open your journey, maybe it is a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm just giving for example. You open the door of 2-bedroom apartment. You enter. You will feel joy. No matter what you did. But the luxurious things, whatever things you eat, whatever things you have done, but the joy of coming back home, I'm back home now. After a lot of enjoyment, I'm not saying you were getting punished. After that come, that joy, what I feel is that so many millions of years of my soul's journey into that mineral and the plant and things like that. So when you get enlightened, you're basically coming back home. You're opening that door of your 2-bedroom apartment. Because earlier it was there, it will be there. You just went for a journey. That joy is priceless. That 5-star hotel stay and food and the sightseeing cannot comparable with this joy. Same here. So I told Guruji it is not without any reason, I find a reason. Okay.
Sir, totally agreed with this, sir. Totally agreed.
Soul is coming back to its own form, home, after millions of years of journey on planet Earth in different life forms. Got enlightened, got connected, got home. That is that joy. So if you get enlightened or get in touch with that, rest of your life will be that joy. It is infinite. And you will retain that. And that, all the enlightened people, they're having that joy all the time at a certain level. I'm not saying everything in the practical level has been sorted out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but no matter what happens here, this level is always at joy. Because it has reached home. Okay. So that is the ultimate prosperity. That is the ultimate sense of abundance. And that comes through that connection, or you can say religion of soul. Religion means connection. Or you can say remember with the soul. Again, become a member of that, my own soul. Okay. So this is the final, that ultimate abundance you can feel. So when you go there, nothing else, it doesn't matter. Things will follow because you are operating from that. Automatically, your thinking will change, your operating level will change, your influencing others will change, your energy, things will change, and you will attract more and more prosperity. Again, I'm cautioning, it doesn't mean nothing bad will happen. Definitely it will happen because they are following their own rule. It's like a pendulum. It goes one way, it will go to other way also. You cannot stop it in the middle. So, but even if that happens, you will be always at the level of peace and joy and things like that. So that this is abundance consciousness, and 7-dimensional prosperity is the reflection of that. So all levels of our life will be having that kind of level of prosperity, and that is the life of abundance. And it comes from the fundamental understanding that we are connected with the infinite source, and this is the abundance consciousness. So with this, I'll close my learning session. So if you have any question on this, so you can ask me now.
Yeah, Rishi, I want to say something.
Narendraji, go ahead. Shweta, I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Rishi, a very nice point I heard from you today, that if you surrender to the divine and believe in the divine, a lot of things will happen which you had not imagined.
Yeah.
And I have experienced them.
Okay.
In some situations, I'm totally fearful of, when we talk of the material world, that this loss is going to happen, this is going to happen. But then I see, I overcome it and something else comes from somewhere else. And this has been my life. Yeah. I've been floated and picked up by somebody. I would call, now since I have more, I have a faith in divine, I have surrendered to the Almighty, I feel more secure. But a lot of mistakes we do in this world because we are fearful.
Exactly.
The moment we are fearful, we take always a wrong decision and it goes contrary to our expectations. Exactly. So the other thing which I now have started experiences to be more brave. The more you surrender to the divine, the more courage and bravery will be. And I have to take out the fear from my mind. And that's the only way to move forward in this particular life.
Yeah, true. The fear.
So I'm just sharing my experience.
Exactly. No, it's a very good sharing. The fear comes. I'm just explaining. Fear comes of the feeling of separation from the Creator.
Correct. Lack of faith.
Yeah. So it is lack of, just like lack of light is darkness. Similarly, lack of pure love with our higher self and the divinity. The fear coming from absence of pure love. When we feel that we are loved by our Creator, fear cannot enter, and that is the abundance consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Shweta, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, thank you so much. And each word was frequency of gold, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, now I would like to ask, sir, everyone, I think if you have people from, you have a lot of friends from India also. And sir, it has become a normal core for the people here to say that opportunity in India is very less. Then there is so much population, so much corruption, you won't find opportunity, especially in West Bengal. From the day I stepped here, everyone was saying this from the, and I stepped here long back. So people were saying there is no opportunity, it is very hard to find jobs. Such things were there, and somehow I allowed these things to seep into my mind. So what happened that the kind of institution I am attached with, they are actually not serving me. I am draining out my energy. Now what is happening, sir? What I'm doing is I'm practicing this high vibration, and I'm asking for guidance from the higher self. Because whatever knowledge I have that I can do this and that, I'm doing that. For example, suppose I'm updating myself in certain areas, but exactly I'm not finding opportunities. So I'm asking to guide me that where I can find you. You provide me some signs and signals like that. I have started. So, but our ego is like that. For example, I'm talking about myself. I'm very bad in receiving. Like when it comes to giving, I'm okay. I'm ready. Yes. But when it comes to receiving, I feel not worthy.
Little embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have started asking to guide me to the higher self like that, not to any person like. So,
Yeah,
so I was asking sir that is it all right? Like because I don't feel.
No, that is fine. See, let me give you some bigger picture. Whatever is happening in our lives, it is planned by our own soul. Okay, so it is. Don't go into the more victim mode. No, spirituality, you have to understand that whatever happening in our life, we have chosen it at some level. Only the drama is being played out, but we have chosen it. And also we have a free will, you have a choice. Suppose if I don't like some organization and they're depriving me, etc., I have a choice to quit. No, it's always there. I have to resign and go. As simple as that. Okay. So that choice is always there with me. So, but so far as I am operating, only thing the victim would have to, take out from me. You have to give our best, whatever, as long as it works, it is fine. The day it doesn't work, say thank you very much, we move on. That's it. We have to make it simple. Basically, what I'm saying is, it is not others, what they are doing is changing your life. It is what you have chosen at a certain level that played out. Let me give some extreme example. Think of some people, say, some fighting is going on in Syria or some other places, that every night some flight is coming and bombarding them and all those things. Anytime you can lose your houses got crashed and no earning source and all these things, some surviving. People ask me, those people, have they selected that life? Yes, they selected that life. Contrary, some people ask me that if I choose, I could have been Tata Birla's son. I could have choose like that life. I said, yes, but your life purpose may not be served by that. That's why you have not chosen. These people who have taken that birth in some places where there is a fear of death at every night, some war zone or somebody is coming and bombing and things like that. What happens is I'm just giving some extreme examples so that you know that why they choose some life which is difficult in our view. When you play, it is very difficult to live that kind of life. But I'm just giving example to understand how it works. Suppose some soul has seen that some in the incarnation, they have done a lot of murders. Okay, that means that this, suppose they have 50 murder they have done. Some kind of gangster type of people. So now you have to take 50 times life and get the murder has to happen to him so that he takes 50 lifetime to settle one life's karma. Because he need to experience that death by accident or killing by someone. They choose that kind of places where war zone, terrorism and war zone. So every night they feel the fear of death, and it is almost they have that death. In that way, they neutralize those karma. Maybe 1 year of that experience take away the fear of that 50 lives, the death experience, what they need to have to neutralize that. In that life, there is nobody's fault. It looks like they're innocent people. Somebody is coming and bombing, destroying their house. They're running here, running there, some shelter, no food. But karmic point of view, that was needed to neutralize, to avoid 50 lifetimes. Okay, and let me give you some good part of it. When these things happens, you are almost nearing your spiritual enlightenment. That's what my Guruji told me. When I first time I was complaining that nothing is working in my life. It is in my this thing story also. Then he said, if everything is against you, nothing is working in your life, your time of your enlightenment has come. Means those are the neutralization of whatever karmic thing balance was, because soul wants you to get prepared for the final lift. So you need to neutralize. There is many ways. Some of them you have to do it physically to operate play in your life. Now, when I look back, I'm just glad that all this happened first part in my life. I didn't get my due. I didn't get my family properties and didn't get this and that. A lot of issues. Some people cheated and all these kind of things. I was, by victim of conspiracy. I got fired from my job and many things happened, But now I feel it's good that happened. I find that these are all account closing exercises. Unless until those accounts are closed, I could not have been ready for the final jump for the enlightenment and to live in that infinite joy and bliss. So you can say in that sense that price you need to pay to settle those accounts. I have taken loan from a bank, I have to pay it, whether I like it or not. At the time of paying back the EMI, I should not cry that it is too much and heavy EMI and all. This is heavy EMI because I have taken loan sometime. Okay, so that's how it works. Take this understanding. Okay, but practical level, my advice is, you see, if it doesn't work out, you can simply switch. That's it. Okay, no need to fight with the system. System will never change. Okay.
No, sir, actually not fighting back to the system, but the thing is, they are helping me to pay some bills and I'm not finding other opportunities. So for the time being, I'm there.
No, all right. So in that case, if it is personal thing, you just take it outside this forum. Okay. We'll have a separate session, one-on-one session. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anybody else having?
Yeah, I have just one question. So time is not there. That was just a small question. I understand what you are told, that it is because of conditioning and it is not easy to digest this thing and easy to implement. It's difficult. Understanding it takes time. But again, I am just asking one question. As you progress in the spiritually, your love is increasing and you feel more love for others and all these things. And it comes with another guilty feeling that I am not able to do the way I want to do for others. I want to do more, but I am not able to do it. So that guilty feeling, how to overcome that?
Yeah. So that is a good question. Here also apply the same formula that you are not God. By design, you are limited. Your capacity is limited by design. You have a limited time, limited wealth, limited capacity by design. As I was explaining, even if no matter what your wish is, you cannot have all the powers in the world. You cannot have all the wealth in the world by design. You cannot have all the time. You cannot have all the knowledge. By design, you are limited. You are not infinite. So accept that within my limited capacity, whatever possible for me to do, I will do. And leave it there. It may not be enough for the other thing. That's fine. You are not here. That's what my advice. Don't play God. You are not responsible to take care of 1 million people and feed them daily, even though you know that they are hungry. Even, my understanding goes to another level where if you can change just one person's life, somebody else, only one, purpose of your life is served. That's very much possible, no? Only one. Okay. Yeah. Spiritually speaking, if you can transform and change somebody else's life, only one, purpose of your life is served.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's it. So don't make it too big. Need is there, but don't make it your target so high it is unachievable. That will make you unhappy and the dissatisfaction will come. Just do your best and leave it to the divine. I don't have everything, but I intended to do. But you can pray for everybody, no? Yes, that we are doing. Yes. At the end of our each session, we are praying for the whole humanity. Just that reminds me one small, little bit of funny stuff. But earlier we used to get some email or something. You send this email to minimum 20 people or 10 people, otherwise something bad will happen and things like that. Okay. So whatever. content doesn't matter. We know what is the reason and who is doing that, but your mind will say, okay, it is name, it is written Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba's message is there, you have to send 20 people, otherwise some bad thing will happen. Every time, I'm just sharing, every time I used to get that, okay, I used to just to pray, let this message reach to the overall whole humanity or all living being. This message to reach, because at least I knew to reach that message doesn't need email. No? How many percentage of people can read email and understand email and have access to email? But if I pray, it will go to everybody. No? So what was happening? So I was not limited to 20 to get that thing what they are threatening. If you don't send to 20, something bad will happen within 48 hours or something like that. So I said, okay, I have a better method. I will send to the whole humanity within a second, but not to the method you suggested. Okay, that's suddenly I remind that story I'm just sharing. So what I'm saying is that your intention is to help. You can do that by praying.
Yeah. That is
that capacity you have, unlimited, and it doesn't need time either. Okay, so you do that. You pray, whatever physically you need to do, help others, you do that. Okay, and target is one, somebody else, that's it. Unconditionally, of course. You said, I will do everything for my son. Okay, that is not unconditional. You expect something back from him. Somebody unrelated, just one person. Okay, that's it. Anything else you do, that is a multiplication of your achievements in one life. All right.
Okay.
Any other? God bless you. Any other question? All right. So we'll go ahead with our, not much time left. So we shall start now. Suprasant, first we do our own Guru Vandana, Om chanting Guru Vandana, then Suprasant Kriya. Then we'll do Hridaya Upasana. Anybody is not aware of or forget about Suprasant Kriya Hridaya Upasana, raise your hand. Then I will explain, otherwise we'll directly go to that. Or unmute and just say it to demonstrate. Anyone who is not aware how to do Suprasant Kriya and Hridaya Upasana? Okay, fine. Everybody knows. I will. Manav, yes. Okay. Yeah. You joined recently. Okay. See, just to show you, Suprasant Kriya is put both of your hands in Saman Mudra, like all hands together, like a, what is called lotus bud, this kind of thing. Yeah. The right hand will go in front of your nose. In fact, the middle finger, tip of the middle finger will touch tip of your nose. It is like a, hold it like a microphone. When you're singing and all, you hold it like a microphone, like this. And the left hand, Saman Mudra, will go and touch your belly button, like a navel. So it will be, if I just stand up and show you, it will posture is like this. Like, oops. Like this is the belly button and this is the, so hand will be like this, okay? You can do it sitting also. You need a standing. And just for the demonstration, I just stand up. After doing that, you have to do 2 second stomach breathing. Like inhale 3 seconds, exhale 2 seconds. So 3 second, 2 second stomach breathing 24 times, holding it like that. So this 24, it will take about 2.5 minutes. So this is your called Suprasant Kriya. Okay, this Kriya is it to balance you. Sometimes if you feel little disturbed or little tensed, little anxious, if you do Suprasant Kriya, you will calm down. Okay, you can use it wherever you like, in different scenario, in the office or something, work environment, you go out somewhere. and do this, and you will feeling that you calm down. So that is called Suprasant Kriya. Hridaya Upasana is that you have to focus on your heart, physical heart, and not heart chakra. Physical heart. And you have to focus on that and feel the heartbeat. Our heart is beating all the time. So you have to focus and feel the heartbeat. If you suppose you connected and tried, you're still not getting the heartbeat. That means it is not possible that heart has stopped. Of course not. But your awareness has not gone to that level so that you can feel that heartbeat. So what you do, you take your left hand and place it on your heart physically, then right hand on top of it a little bit. And then physically, and you feel that heartbeat on your left hand and register the heartbeat, what you are feeling in the left hand. Keep the rhythm within you and slowly remove the hand. And come back to the mudra. What mudra we follow during the Hridaya Upasana is a Hridaya Mudra. Hridaya Mudra is like this. First, in the hand, you take the pointing finger to the root of the thumb and you feel where the pulse is. One point of time, there's a blood vessel there, and it will be like tap tap, it will be doing. So feel that where it is and exactly place on that so that you can feel the pulse. And then you touch the tip of the thumb with the tip of the middle finger, and rest two fingers will be out. This is Hridaya Mudra. This is Hridaya Mudra. Okay? And you have to place it on your lap like that. In the Hridaya Mudra, you have to focus on your heart and feel the heartbeat. That is called Hridaya Upasana. So it is clear, Manav?
Yes, it is clear. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. So all of us get ready. Sit straight. Breathe in and breathe out a few times and relax yourself. Now take a deep breath in for Om chanting. Guru Vandana. Akhandamandalakaram Vyapam Yena Characharam Tadarshitam Yenam Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnanajanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Shakshat Param Brahma Shri Guruve Namaha. Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With the divine blessings of Mahavatar Babaji, Mataji, Amar Jyoti ji, Guruji Prem Nirmal, Guruma Bharti Nirmal, and all the masters of Guru Mandala, we shall start our Suprasant Kriya. First round, start. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. No, end there. Come to Hriday Mudra. Focus on your heart and feel the heartbeat internally. You can also get the same heartbeat pulses at the root of your thumb. You can feel from there as well. This is called Hridaya Upasana. Give your full attention to your heartbeat. All right. Now rub your palms together and place them on your closed eyes. I shall count 10. Hold it till that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give this energy to your face and all over your body. Now your healing chakras at the center of your palms are active. If you like to send healing energy to someone, intend that person is in front of you and bless with both of your hands. If there are more than one persons, bless them one after another. Now we shall have Shantipat for global peace and harmony and earliest recovery from this pandemic. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkhavagavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Mangalam. That completes our session today.
Thank you, Rasdikda.
God bless you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Pranam, Rasdikda.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very
Pranam,
much.
Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
God bless
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so